Hello students, I am explaining chapter 2 is matter around a sphere for class 9 science, and in this video I am going to explain the topic that is compounds. Already we have completed the topic elements and the topic which are present before this in your NCERT book, and now in this video I am going to complete the last topic of this chapter, that is compounds. So, what is compounds? When two or more elements are chemically combined in a fixed proportion, they form compound. So remember, elements are the simplest form, which we already studied, and I have already explained this in the earlier video. So when two or more different elements combine together chemically in a fixed proportion, they will give a compound. So we are going to study some of the examples of compounds in this video. So if I want to give a simple example, I can give you the example of water, that is H2O. So H2O, it is a compound, and it has prepared by the combining or by using two elements. One is hydrogen and the second one is oxygen. So when hydrogen element and oxygen element is chemically combined, it will give water. And remember, to prepare water, we have to use two hydrogens and one oxygen. See the proportion. When two hydrogen and one oxygen combines in a fixed proportion, that is 2:1, then only we are going to get water. So I hope you are understanding what is compound. When two or more elements chemically combine in a fixed proportion, they form compounds. So this was the definition. Now we are going to study a little bit extra by using one of the activity which is called as activity 2.4. It is from your NCERT book itself. So let me explain this activity. So see the activity. Divide the class into two groups. So what we are going to do first, we are going to divide the whole class into two groups or make two groups. Group 1, it is going to explain about the mixture, and group 2 is going to prepare a compound. So two groups we are going to do. First group is about mixture, second group is about compound. In group 1, take 5 grams of iron fillings and 3 grams of sulfur powder in a china dish. So whatever students are present in group 1, what they are going to do, they are going to take 5 grams of iron fillings and 3 grams of sulfur powder in a china dish. Mix them thoroughly using spatula. Then the next, group 2 students take same amount of 5 grams of iron filling and 3 gram of sulfur powder in a china dish. Heat the mixture strongly until it reacts. Let the mixture cool. So in the first group, students are going to take iron fillings and sulfur powder, and they're going to just mix it into the china dish. In the second group, students are going to take same, that is 5 grams of iron filling and sulfur powder, that is 3 gram, but this mixture they are going to heat it till they react. Remember, here there will be the reaction between iron fillings and sulfur powder. Let the mixture cool. Now we will see next. So now what we are going to do, we are going to perform a magnet test for both the groups. So bring a magnet near the materials obtained. So we have seen group 1 also and group 2 also. So in group 1 what we have done, we have taken iron fillings plus sulfur powder just mixed, and group 2 iron fillings and sulfur powder, but we have heated it till it get reacts. So now we are going to bring a magnet near this both the materials. Now see what happens. Observation. Group 1 mixture. The material is attracted towards the magnet. So when we bring our magnet near this mixture which is prepared by the group 1 students just by mixing iron fillings and sulfur powder, and when they keep this iron magnet near this mixture, this whole iron and the sulfur powder, from this some of the material will get attracted towards the magnet. Iron can be separated using the magnet. So as we all know, this magnet will attract all the iron from this, and iron will get separated, sulfur will remain into the china dish. This was about first group. Now when we take same magnet near second group mixture which is heated, see what happens. Group 2 compound. The material is not attracted towards the magnet. So see here, when we take magnet near the second group mixture, that is compound, here this has got reacted with each other. Iron has got reacted with the sulfur due to heating, and that is why from this substance, from this compound, iron will not get attracted towards the magnet. We cannot separate iron from this whole compound. I hope you are understanding. So let me explain it once again. In the first group, iron fillings and sulfur powder is just mixed. when we bring a magnet near this mixture, only iron will get attracted and we can separate iron. But in the second group, if you see, when iron and sulfur powder is mixed and heated, some different compound has been formed. So in this compound, when we bring a magnet near this, iron cannot get attracted. So we cannot separate iron. Remember, here we cannot separate. Let me write it here. Separate iron. Already I have written in the notes. You can see here. Iron cannot be separated. So this was the observation when we do magnet test for these both the groups. Now we will see the next. Now the next we are going to see texture and color. Group 1. Iron plus sulfur mixture. Texture is heterogeneous. That is nothing but what? Non-uniform. So when we mix iron fillings and sulfur powder, iron fillings will be a little bit of larger in size, and sulfur powder which we have mixed, it will be smaller in size. So easily we can separate iron fillings from the sulfur powder. So this is called as heterogeneous or non-uniform. The composition of this iron filling and sulfur powder is not uniform everywhere. We can easily separate iron fillings as well as sulfur powder. So if you see the texture in group 1, it is heterogeneous. Remember, color, yellow sulfur and gray or black iron particles visible separately. So if you see the color, we can easily separate yellow sulfur. So here the red one which you can see, imagine this is gray or black color iron, and the blue color which you can see, that I will name it as yellow sulfur. So easily we can differentiate iron and sulfur based on the color itself. So remember what I told, we are studying texture here. In texture what we saw, it is heterogeneous because iron fillings are larger in size, sulfur powder is smaller in size, and easily we can separate. And based on the color also we can separate because sulfur is yellow in color and iron is gray or black in color. What about group 2? Group 2, what we have done, we have heated. So after heating, iron sulfide has been formed. Remember, when we took iron fillings and added sulfur, we have got iron sulfide. And what is the formula for that? It is FeS. So when we heat means the triangle shape is used to show the heating process. So this triangle is heating. So when we heat iron and sulfur, it will form iron sulfide. I'll write it here. So this is the product which you are going to get. So in this iron sulfide, iron is not free. Remember, iron has completely combined chemically with the sulfur and it has formed one compound which is called as iron sulfide. Now see here, in group 2, after heating, we have got iron sulfide. So what is the texture? It is homogeneous or uniform. Means this iron has completely reacted, mixed with the sulfur, and whatever iron sulfide we have got, it is homogeneous mixture. Iron has completely uniformly mixed with the sulfur, or sulfur has completely uniformly mixed with the iron. We cannot separate iron or sulfur from this iron sulfide. That's why it is called, it is a homogeneous or uniform mixture. What about the color? Black throughout. So remember, because your iron and sulfur is not separate, it has formed a new substance and the color of this new substance is black. So throughout the mixture in iron sulfide, we can see black color. In the group 1, iron was separate, sulfur was separate. So we saw yellow color for sulfur and black color for iron. But in group 2, iron sulfur has combined and we have got a different compound, new substance which is called iron sulfide, and that is completely black in color. So whole color of this iron sulfide is black. I hope you are understanding what I am explaining. Now the next we are going to do the test, that is action of carbon disulfide. What is carbon disulfide? That is CH2. So we are going to react this carbon disulfide with the substance which has formed in group 1 and group 2 and see what happens. In group 1, that is called mixture of iron fillings and sulfur powder. Sulfur dissolves in carbon disulfide, iron remains behind, shows components can be separated. Very simple. So what we did, we took the mixture of iron fillings and sulfur powder, and in this we have added CH2, carbon disulfide. Now see what happens when we mix this all, sulfur will dissolve in this carbon disulfide, but iron will remain safe. It will remain as it is, as it is. So iron will remain as it is. So what happens? We can easily separate this ion. Remember, we can easily separate this ion. So what it shows, in mixtures, we can easily separate the components. What about group 2? In group 2, we have compound, that is iron sulfide, we have got by heating. In this, we are going to add carbon disulfide. So what happens now? No dissolution occurs. No separation is possible. Confirms formation of compound. So when we take iron sulfide, and in this when we add carbon disulfide, no dissolution occurs. So this iron sulfide will remain as it is. So we cannot divide this iron sulfide and separate iron and sulfur again. So confirms that whatever we have got in group 2 by heating, it is a compound. So compounds cannot be separated, but in mixtures we can separate the component. So this we have understood with the help of these two tests. Now we are going to move with the next one. Now we are going to perform the third test, that is action of dilute acids. So dilute acid means what? The acid which has water in it. Those are called dilute. So here either you can use HCl, hydrochloric acid, or we can use sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4. So we are going to see how this dilute acid will react with the mixtures and the compounds. So see the first one, group 1 mixture. Iron reacts with acid to produce hydrogen gas. No foul smell. So remember, when we took group 1 mixture, that is iron fillings and sulfur, and in this when we added HCl, that is dilute hydrochloric acid, iron will react with hydrochloric acid and it gives formation of hydrogen gas. So what is the reaction? So see the reaction, only iron reacts with HCl and it gives FeCl2. Actually it should be written like this. Let me write it once again. See here, FeCl2 should be at the bottom. So FeCl2 plus we are going to get H2, that is hydrogen gas. So like this it should be written. Remember, the number should be written in small size. So FeCl2 plus H2 we are going to get. H2 is hydrogen gas. So remember, in group 1 we have the mixture of iron fillings and sulfur powder. When we added hydrochloric acid, iron will react with hydrochloric acid and we are going to get hydrogen gas. We are not going to get a foul smell of sulfur. Remember this. But what about group 2? That we have got here iron sulfide. Now we have here compound. When this iron sulfide is reacting with hydrochloric acid, it produces hydrogen sulfide gas. Remember, hydrogen sulfide gas, that is H2S. And gas has a rotten egg smell. So here, if you see the reaction, when this compound FeS is reacted with HCl, it is going to give FeCl2, and with this, it is also going to give a gas which is called as H2S, hydrogen sulfide. And this gas will give a rotten egg smell. So if you are getting a rotten egg smell, it is showing that there is a formation of hydrogen sulfide. Now, here it shows that this compound has completely reacted with the HCl. Iron also has reacted with Cl, sulfur has reacted with H, and we have got iron chloride and hydrogen sulfide. So this is the observation we can see when we react with hydrochloric acid or dilute sulfuric acid. Now the fourth test, when performed with elements separately. Now we are going to perform the same reaction separately with all the elements. What elements we have? We have used iron and we have used sulfur. Now do the test separately. First one is iron alone. Magnetic. When we took a magnet, it get attracted. It reacts with the acid and produce hydrogen gas. But when we take sulfur, it is a yellow solid, dissolves in carbon disulfide and does not react with the acids. So these are the observations when we take it separately. Remember what we have done. We have taken iron separately and did the test of magnet and acid. What we saw, it attracted towards the magnet, it reacts with the acid to produce hydrogen gas. When we did the same test with the sulfur, we saw that it is a yellow solid. When we reacted with carbon disulfide, it dissolves in carbon disulfide and it do not react with the dilute acid. So these are the observations we have noted separately when we perform this test. So based on these all the tests, what conclusions we can do? So the conclusion is, see here, group 1, that is nothing but it is a mixture. Components retain their properties. So we have taken iron, fillings and sulfur powder, but we have not heated here. So iron is showing its properties separately, sulfur is showing its properties separately. can be separated by physical methods, and also we can separate it by a simple physical method because they have not reacted with each other. It is just called a mixture. But in group 2, we have heated the mixture. We took Fe, we took sulfur, that is iron fillings and sulfur powder, and when we heated, we got iron sulfide. And this iron sulfide, it is a compound. Two different elements combined to form a compound. And this compound is a new substance. And when the new substance will form, it will not retain the property of either iron or sulfur. It shows a completely different properties. So here I have written, it shows different properties, that is no magnetism, no separation, different gas with the acids. So this is all about compound. So remember, according to this, I'll explain once again in the conclusion what we saw. In mixtures, all the components will retain their property and we can easily separate by simple methods, physical methods. But whenever compound is formed, new substance will form. All the properties will be different from their elements. So this is the conclusion based on this all the test. Now we are going to move with the next. Now based on those all the tests, we are going to differentiate elements, sorry, not elements, it should be mixtures. So we are going to differentiate between mixtures and compounds. So this is the table which I have taken from your NCERT book itself, and the same notes you have to refer to write the answers for the question, write the differences between mixtures and compounds, which is very easy. So the one first column, it is mixture, in the second column it is compound. So see the first point. Elements or compounds just mix together to form mixtures and no new compound is formed. So first one, what is mixture? Here just we are going to mix elements or compounds. They are not going to react with each other. We are not going to get any new compound. But what about compounds? Elements react with each other to form a new compound. Remember, in the second one, what is compound? Here, two different elements or more than two different elements react to give a different compound or different substance. Second one, mixture has variable composition. So in mixture, all the elements will be separate. They can show their own properties. That's why they have variable composition. You can take, imagine if you take iron fillings and sulfur powder, you can take high amount of iron fillings and less amount of sulfur powder. Doesn't matter in mixtures. But whenever you're preparing a new substance, then the composition should be fixed. As I told in water, if you want to prepare water, we are going to take one hydrogen element, one oxygen element. And when these both react with each other, how they react? They will react in a fixed proportion, that is 2:1. Water should be in 2 and oxygen should be in 1. If they react in this fixed proportion, then only we are going to get water. Remember this. So whenever you are preparing a new substance, there should be a fixed proportion of elements. But in mixture, it is not necessary. You can take less or more amount of any of the elements. So it has variable composition. Next, third one. A mixture shows the properties of the constituent substance. So in mixture, whatever components you have mixed, all will show their separate properties. Like in the same example, if you see, iron has different color, sulfur has different color. Sulfur shows yellow color, iron shows black color. If you do the magnetic test, iron will get attracted towards the magnet, sulfur will not attract. So here all the elements are free. They will show their properties separately. But in compounds, when a new substance is formed, the elements will not show their properties separately. They have been combined and form a new substance, and that's why their properties will be completely different. See the same example which I have taken here. Hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas, but when these two combine in a 2:1 proportion, we are going to get water. And what is water? It is in liquid state. So see here, properties of a new substance will be completely different from their elements. I hope you will understand these all the points. Fourth point, the constituents can be separated fairly easily by physical methods. So as they have their different properties, we can easily separate all the components in mixtures by simple physical methods. Here just now I told you by using magnet, we can separate iron from sulfur powder. But in compounds, the constituents we cannot separate because those are completely reacted, chemically reacted. And that's why by simple physical methods we cannot separate the elements. So see here, The constituent cannot be separated only by chemical or electrochemical. We can separate it only by chemical and electrochemical reactions. We cannot separate by using simple physical methods. So these are some of the differences between mixtures and compounds. I hope you will understand. Same points are there in the NCERT book. Same column I have taken, table I have taken here to explain you people. Make the note of these all the points. These all points will help you to answer any question if they ask from this topic. So now I'll move with the next. Now we are going to do the final conclusion on that activity. So see here, although both groups started with the same substances, that is iron fillings and sulfur powder. We have divided the whole class in two groups, and first group and second group both have taken same substances, that is iron fillings and sulfur powder. The final products are different because the type of change is different. What is the final product? In group 1 we saw the mixture, and group 2 we saw a compound formation because the type of change is different. Then the material obtained by group 1 is a mixture of two elements, that is iron and sulfur. So in this case, first point is, in a mixture, the substances are simply combined physically. They will not react. The properties of mixtures remain the same as those in the constituents. Already I have explained this point, but according to NCERT, I am explaining each and everything, so I have to explain this once again. So the properties in the mixture, if you see in the mixture, all the constituent element will retain their properties. Second, for example, iron remains magnetic, sulfur retains yellow color. So here in group 1, they have mixed iron and sulfur, but still all the elements will retain their own properties. Iron is remaining iron is getting attracted towards the magnet, and sulfur is also retaining its yellow color. Then the material obtained by group 2 is a compound. So now about group 2. In group 2 what we did? Same substance we have used, iron fillings and sulfur powder. But when we heated, we got a compound, that is iron sulfide here. And what about iron sulfide? What are the points we can write? When iron and sulfur are heated slowly or strongly, chemical reaction occurs and a new substance is formed. This compound has completely different properties compared to iron and sulfur. So iron sulfide has completely different properties compared to iron and sulfur. Just now I have explained you in the last slide. It is not magnetic because when we took magnet, iron was not separated. Has uniform black color. Here sulfur is not showing its yellow color. Complete whole iron sulfide is getting black in color. Cannot be separated into its components. In mixture we can separate it by using magnet, but here it has formed a compound iron sulfide, and this we cannot separate into iron and sulfur. So this was about the final conclusion based on this group. So see the next one. The composition of compound is fixed and uniform throughout. So in compounds, whatever composition is present, that is fixed and uniform. It will not change throughout. Every part of a compound has the same properties. So if in a beaker, if you take FES, say it is a FES, these all FES throughout this compound beaker, FES will show the same properties. The texture, color of the compound are also uniform, unlike the mixtures where different particles are visible. So in compounds, texture, color, everything will be uniform, but in mixture, because these components will not get mixed, iron will show different color, that is black, sulfur will show different color, that is yellow, and also the texture also will be different. So this was the final conclusion based on that activity. I hope you'll understand the explanation of this. Now I'm going to move with the next. So thus we can summarize the physical and chemical nature of matter in the following graphical organizer. So this is again the chart which I have taken from your NCERT book itself, where in this chart all physical and chemical nature of a matter has been summarized. So just let me read it once. You will understand because I have explained everything. If you watch my all the videos, it will be easy to understand this graphical thing. So first is matter divided into solid, liquid and gases. Matter is divided into two. One is pure substance, one is mixture. In pure substance we have two. One is element and other one is compound. In mixture we have two, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous. Elements mean what? Cannot be broken down to simpler substance. Example, copper, oxygen, iron, hydrogen, etc. These all are elements. Copper is Cu, oxygen is O2, iron is Fe, hydrogen is H2, etc. Compound means what? Have a fixed composition. cannot be broken down into elements by chemical, can be broken down into elements by chemical, electrochemical reaction, not by simple methods. Example is water, H2O, see here. One is hydrogen, one is oxygen element. Methane, one is carbon, one is hydrogen. Then sugar, that is you can take example sucrose, C12, H22, O11. This is called as sugar. So here carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all three elements are mixed. Then salt, that is NaCl. So sodium and chlorine is mixed. So different elements will mix in a fixed composition and we will get a compound. What is homogeneous? Uniform composition, very simple, salt plus water. And what is heterogeneous? Non-uniform composition. Here you can take the example of iron fillings and sulfur powder. Then here you can see the example sugar in water, salt in water, sulfur in carbon disulfide, water in alcohol, etc. In this all, whenever you mix, you will see uniform composition. In sugar in water, we cannot separate sugar from the water. You cannot see the sugar in the glass of water because it will be uniformly dissolved. Next, for heterogeneous, examples are sand and salt, sugar and salt, water and oil. See the example of water and oil. If you take water and if you put oil, oil will remain floating on the top. It will not get mixed into the water. So easily, clearly, we can differentiate oil and water. And this is called as non-uniform composition. So this was the summarize of physical and chemical nature of matter in a graphical organizer. I hope you will understand these all the explanation, these all the notes which I have explained in this video. So this was the last topic from this chapter, that is chapter 2, is matter around us pure. I hope it will help you to prepare for your class state, for your final exam, and to give the answers in your class whenever the teacher is asking question. So make notes of these all the points, write down these all the points in a notebook, so it will help you to prepare for your exam. And if you like my video, share my videos with your friends. And if you're getting little bit also help from these all the videos, then please consider subscribing my channel. Thank you so much.